There is something happening inside your home right now that no one ever warned you about. Not a problem you can see, not a problem you can calculate, but something that has been quietly working against you, against your peace, against your prosperity, against the natural flow of abundance that was always meant to find its way to you. Most people spend their entire lives asking the same question. Why does the money always disappear? Why does it feel like no matter how hard I work, no matter how careful I try to be, there is never quite enough? Why does something that should feel stable always feel like it's slipping? And the answer they receive from the world, from financial advice columns, from well-meaning people, is always about numbers. Spend less, save more, make better choices. But what if the answer isn't about the numbers at all? What if the real issue isn't how much you are earning or how much you are spending, but where, inside your own home, the energy of your wealth is being silently drained every single day? I want to talk to you today about something the ancient teachers understood long before modern finance ever existed. Something that has been passed down not through books or universities, but through direct transmission, from master to student, from generation to generation, across cultures that never shared a language, but somehow arrived at the same quiet truth. There are places inside your home that do not welcome wealth, places that by their very nature push abundance away. And if your money is resting in any of these 5 places right now, you may have found a hidden reason why prosperity has felt just out of reach for longer than you'd like to admit. If this teaching is already stirring something inside you, I want to invite you to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell. Every week I bring a new teaching, not loud, not complicated, but deep. The kind of deep that changes something quietly inside you long after the video ends. The first place, the bathroom. Let me begin where almost every ancient tradition begins when this subject is raised. The bathroom is the room in your home that is energetically dedicated to one single function: release. Every element of that space is designed around the principle of letting go. Water flows out, waste leaves. The body is cleansed of what it no longer needs. This is not a negative thing. Release is sacred. Purification is sacred. But the energy that governs that room, the frequency of outflow, of dissolution, of departure, is completely incompatible with the energy of accumulation. And yet, more people than you would ever imagine store money in their bathroom. A wallet left on the counter, a small reserve tucked in a cabinet, a bill forgotten in a jacket pocket hanging on the back of the door. I have spent decades in conversation with people who could not understand why their financial lives felt like a slow and steady leak. Like they were always working, always trying, and yet the water level never rose. And when I began asking quiet questions about the habits inside their homes, the daily unconscious habits no one ever thinks to examine, a pattern appeared that I have never been able to ignore. The bathroom is the room of departure. Money placed there learns that frequency. It does not stay, it flows just as everything in that room flows, outward, away, gone. Move it, not tomorrow, now. The moment this teaching lands in your body and feels true, that is the moment to act on it. The second place, near the front door. This one is more invisible. And the things we cannot easily see have the deepest roots. Think about what your front door actually is. It is the threshold of your life. It is the point where the outside world enters and where the inside world exits. It is in a state of constant movement, of hellos and goodbyes, arrivals and departures, energy coming in and energy going out. In the Tibetan teachings I was fortunate enough to receive from a teacher who had spent 30 years in retreat, there is a principle about thresholds that few in the Western world have ever heard. He told me, a threshold is a place of pure transition, and transition, by its nature, cannot hold anything permanently. What sits near the threshold, participates in that perpetual motion. It cannot help it. The energetic current of arrival and departure does not stop at the furniture, does not skip the decorative bowl on your entry table, does not pass around the jacket pocket where you tossed your wallet when you walked in. It moves through everything that lives in that space. Money stored near the front door is money that is constantly rehearsing the act of living. It is money that has not yet decided it belongs to you, because the place where it rests has not yet decided if it belongs inside or outside. Create a boundary between the world of transition and the world of permanence in your home. Your wealth belongs in the permanent world. It belongs somewhere that tells it, quietly but firmly, you are staying here, you arrived, this is your home. The third place, inside a chaotic, cluttered drawer. Now we arrive at the place I consider the most revealing of all five. Because this one is not just about physical location. This one is about the relationship between your external environment and your internal state of being. You know the drawer I am talking about. Every home has one. Some homes have three. It is the drawer where things go when they have no place. Old batteries that may or may not still work. Instruction manuals for appliances you no longer own. Rubber bands. Expired coupons. A key that opens something but you can no longer remember what. Loose coins. Pens that have run dry. A birthday candle. Something that might be important and might not be. And somewhere buried in that accumulated confusion, there is money. There almost always is. It may be small, it may be significant, but it is there, resting inside chaos, absorbing the frequency of disorder, of forgetfulness, of things that have no clear value and no clear purpose. The ancient teachings on prosperity were not superstition. They were careful observations about the relationship between the outer world and the inner world. And what those observations revealed consistently across every tradition and every continent is this. Your external environment is always reflecting your internal relationship with abundance. When your money rests in chaos, your internal experience of wealth becomes chaotic, unclear, undefined. That feeling so many people describe, like money slips through their fingers without ever knowing where it went. That feeling has a home, and often that home is a drawer. I am not suggesting that cleaning a drawer will make you rich, but I am telling you something that the great teachers always knew. The act of creating order in the physical world is an act of declaration in the spiritual world. It says, "This matters to me. I see this. I am choosing intentionality over unconsciousness." And that shift from unconsciousness to intentionality is where every real transformation begins. If this teaching is speaking to something you have felt for a long time but never had the words to describe, write in the comments right now, "I am ready to receive." Let that be your declaration. Let that be the signal you send to the universe that you are no longer moving through your relationship with abundance on autopilot, that you are awake, that you are choosing. The fourth place, underneath the bed. There is a reason every culture that has ever existed has treated the sleeping space as something sacred. The bed is not just furniture, it is the altar of your unconscious life. It is the place where your nervous system surrenders its vigilance, where your mind releases its grip on the waking world and enters something deeper, older, more mysterious than anything you can control. It is where you are most vulnerable and therefore where you are most permeable. What lives in the energy field of your sleeping space enters you every night, not as a thought, not as a choice, but as a frequency your body absorbs in the hours when your defenses are completely down. Storing money beneath the bed creates a specific kind of energetic disturbance that very few people recognize as what it actually is. Below you, while you sleep, while you are at your most open, the anxiety of financial uncertainty sits and pulses. The worry about whether there will be enough, the fear that it might disappear, the tension of material concern pressed directly into the field of your deepest rest. Many people experience this as sleeplessness they cannot explain, as a low-level anxiety that follows them from night into morning, as dreams that circle around themes of loss or scarcity without a clear reason in their waking life. They have searched for the cause in the mind, but sometimes the cause is underneath the mattress. A Hindu master whose words were shared with me many years ago said something I have carried ever since. He said, "Do not bring the marketplace into the temple. The bedroom is the temple of your restoration. The marketplace, the world of money, of transaction, of material worry, belongs outside that sacred door. Your wealth deserves a home that honors it, and you deserve a night of rest that restores you fully, without the weight of financial anxiety pressed beneath you in the dark." The fifth place, near the stove. This last one will surprise some of you, because the kitchen, in almost every spiritual tradition ever recorded, is considered the heart of the home, the place of nourishment, the seat of abundance. And in many ways, that is true. The kitchen can be a powerful altar of prosperity, but there is a distinction that matters enormously, and most people have never heard it made. The stove is fire, and fire has one nature, one law, one unbreakable purpose: it consumes. Fire transforms, yes. Fire creates warmth and light and nourishment, yes. But the mechanism of all those gifts is consumption, burning, reduction, taking what is solid and turning it into heat and ash and memory. A Taoist teacher I once spent time with used to say, "Fire is the most generous servant and the most dangerous neighbor. You need it near, but you must never forget what it does to what comes too close." Money stored near the stove, in the drawer beside the oven, in a jar on the counter within the warmth of the burners, in any place that enters the energetic field of the flame, is money being placed in the neighborhood of consumption. It is not a punishment. Fire does not know you. It simply does what fire does. And what fire does is slowly, constantly, quietly consume whatever enters its field. The kitchen should be filled with the energy of gratitude, with fresh fruit, with the warmth of a meal prepared with love, with the fragrance of nourishment. Let it be an altar to the abundance of life, but build that altar with intention, not with the unconscious habit of leaving your wealth where the oldest and most powerful element in your home is always burning. What these 5 places are really telling you. Sit with this for a moment. The bathroom, the energy of release and outflow. The front door, the energy of perpetual transition. The chaotic drawer, the energy of disorder and forgetfulness. Beneath the bed, the energy of hidden anxiety and unconscious fear. Near the stove, the energy of consumption and burning. Each of these places is not just a physical occasion. Each one is a symbol of an inner state. And the great teaching hidden beneath all of this, the one that the masters never put in writing because they knew it could only be received when the student was truly ready, is this. The way you store your money is the way you feel about your money. And the way you feel about your money is the way you relate to your own worthiness of receiving it. When money lives in chaos, it is because somewhere inside there is a belief that abundance is chaotic, unpredictable, uncontrollable, not really yours to keep. When money lives near exits and thresholds, it is because somewhere inside there is an expectation that it will leave, that its staying was never guaranteed. When money lives in dark, hidden places, breathed over by anxiety and fire and the energy of dissolution, it is because somewhere inside there is still a part of you that is not completely sure you deserve to have it stay. This is the teaching beneath the teaching. This is why the ancient masters did not simply say, "Move the money." They said, "Examine why you placed it there in the first place. Where the money actually belongs." The answer is simpler than you might expect. Your money belongs in a place you chose with full awareness, not where it ended up, not where it was convenient, not where it was temporary. A place you walked to with intention and said, "This is where abundance lives in my home." It could be a single dedicated drawer, clean and organized, where nothing else lives but what belongs to your financial life. It could be a personal lockbox or safe. It could be a specific shelf in a quiet, stable part of your home. It does not need to be elaborate or expensive. What it needs to be is conscious. Because the most powerful thing I have learned in all my years of sitting with teachers and walking with seekers and listening to the stories of people in every stage of life is that abundance follows attention. Prosperity moves toward the places and the people that treat it as if it already matters. The moment you create a home for your wealth, a real home, an intentional home, you begin sending a signal that is older and deeper than any financial strategy ever invented. You are saying, I believe this belongs here. I believe abundance is meant for me. I believe that what comes to me is allowed to stay. That belief, held in the body, expressed in action, repeated in the quiet rituals of daily life, that is not superstition. That is prayer in its most honest and practical form. The last thing I need to say. I want to be honest with you in the way that the teachers I most respected were always honest with me. Moving the money without moving the belief will only take you so far. You can clean every drawer. You can clear every threshold. You can keep your wealth far from water and fire and chaos and the open door. And all of that matters. All of that will create a shift you will feel. But if the deeper belief is still there, the one that whispers you are not quite worthy, that abundance never really lasts for people like you, that something always takes it away in the end, then the work is not finished. The outer transformation and the inner transformation must walk together. One foot in the physical world, one foot in the invisible world. The reorganization of the home is the beginning of a conversation. What that conversation is really about is the relationship between you and the idea that you deserve to live in abundance. That idea is not arrogance. It is not greed. It is the simple recognition that you were not born to struggle. That the same force that grows trees and fills oceans and lights every star in the sky is the same force that moves through you, and that force knows no scarcity. The scarcity is learned, and what is learned can be unlearned. That is the deepest teaching this tradition ever gave me, and I pass it to you now with the same simplicity and the same sincerity with which it was passed to me. Before you go, I want to ask you something simple. Of the 5 places we talked about today, which one surprised you most? Which one felt like someone had just quietly described something in your own home, your own life, your own invisible pattern? Write that number in the comments, just the number. That small gesture of presence and attention is already the beginning of something new. If you know someone who needs to hear this today, someone who has been struggling quietly, who works hard and wonders why it never quite adds up, share this video with them. Sometimes the right teaching arrives through the hands of someone who loves us. And if you feel that the work being done here has value, if these teachings have reached you at a moment when you truly needed them, you can support this channel through a super thanks. Your support keeps these teachings moving through the world and reaching the people who are ready to receive them. I am Monk Orion, and I will be here in the next teaching, in the next silence, in the next moment when something invisible in your life is asking to be seen. Until then, walk with intention, rest in peace, and remember, everything in your life is responding to the frequency you carry. Everything.